What is happening, guys? GT5 King 101 here, and welcome to my 2013 review for the German Grand Prix. Congratulations to Sebastian Vettel for winning his first home Grand Prix and his 30th career win after a very tough fight with both Lotuses of Kimi Räikkönen and Romain Grosjean. Kimi Räikkönen finished second ahead of Romain Grosjean by only a few seconds. However, it was a team order for Kimi Räikkönen to overtake Romain Grosjean because for the championship it would be better if Kimi Räikkönen finished ahead of Romain Grosjean. But it was, even though Kimi Räikkönen was quite a healthy way ahead of Romain Grosjean in the championship, and not too far ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Currently, he is third in the championship standings, ahead of Lewis Hamilton. And starting Lewis Hamilton yet again struggling with the tires. He's not happy with the tires at all. And it's not only Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg, his teammate, and who finished ninth today, after a rather disappointing qualifying session where Mercedes messed up and failed to get Nico Rosberg out in time for another hot lap in time, and he ended Q2, which was a slight disappointment, but at least he got a few points, and hopefully he can fight for Hungary in a few weeks' time. In fourth place, Fernando Alonso. It wasn't much question. He was catching Romain Grosjean. Possibly if he had another lap under him, he would have been able to overtake Romain Grosjean. By second in the championship, so it's still a clear fight between Sebastian Vettel, Fernando Alonso, Kimi Räikkönen and Lewis Hamilton up front. Sixth place, Jenson Button. He had a pretty good race. McLaren is catching up with the top teams, but I think it's probably too late now. We're already done halfway through the season. 30th lap of the race was pretty much officially, I would say, the halfway point of the season. And 30th lap was the lap after the safety car. Jules Bianchi had an oil problem and an engine fire at the second DRS straight, and he pulled over just before the chicane, and it was quite a dangerous moment. But what was really funny and weird was that he failed to put the car into gear, and as a result he put the car into neutral and it rolled down the track, and luckily with no cars coming down the DRS straight. However, Sebastian Vettel and Romain Grosjean, the top guys, were coming along that straight just as the car was about to go onto the grass on the opposite side of the track. But luckily there was this Alliance sponsors polystyrene barrier post, which was managed to stop the car, but it was rather stupid, and which did cause a safety car, and perhaps maybe Marussia could get a fine for causing quite dangerous driving. Mark Webber 7th, rather amazing drive from him. In his first pit stop, his rear right tire failed to go on. His lollipop guy did not fail to see this. He set the car away. His car went flying off, pretty much. His tire went flying off the hub and hit a cameraman at the Mercedes garage. Luckily the cameraman is alright. Unfortunately he suffered a broken collarbone, a few bruises and cuts in his face, and a few broken ribs. But luckily he is at a hospital near the track, and he's been retained and he should survive. So hopefully we should send his prayers, and hopefully he'll have fast recovery. And possibly Red Bull could get a big hefty fine for this, because it was a dangerous thing to happen today. And yeah, Williams again, they were having a few pit stop problems as well. Some of their wheel nuts weren't going on. I don't know, it was always when the wheel was coming off, so it could be a gun problem. Maybe it wasn't able to put the wheel back off. So yeah, it was quite a disappointing race for Williams at 600th race today. So hopefully they can improve this for the 601 first race, Hungary, in 3 weeks time. 8th place was Sergio Perez, after quite a rather disappointing qualifying session, starting 14th. It wasn't too bad. He still got a few points, and hopefully McLaren will start to regain their record for the most amount of points, for the most amount of races and the points. I think it was 64 races that was their record, and hopefully Ferrari is nearing their record. Finishing the top 10 was the two Nicos, Nico Rosberg and Nico Hülkenberg. 1 point for Sauber. I think it was pretty good race for Sauber overall. Unfortunately, they are having some money difficulties. They're looking for investors to pump some money back into the team, and as a result, apparently both drivers aren't getting paid, and the wages aren't getting through because they have to save more money. They have to they're pretty much on money saving mode, and they have to save as much money as they can for the development of the cars and to keep the team in Formula 1. I want to keep the team in Formula 1. They've got great history, and they've got a lot of respect, particularly with Manisha Kaltenborn, and the first girl team principal, but that doesn't really mean anything. Just I like the team, and they've done well over the past few years. So in terms of the World Championship, Sebastian Vettel first, Fernando Alonso second, ahead of Kimi Räikkönen and Lewis Hamilton. Mark Webber starting from last after that tricky first pit stop, finishing fifth. Still in fifth position. Sixth, Nico Rosberg. Seventh, Fernando Felipe Massa, who retired after another brake failure in the Ferrari in the first corner when he tried to turn right. In the braking zone, his car pretty much slid, pretty much locked up, and when he went into the runoff, and the anti-stall feature, which prevents the car from stalling, hence the reason anti-stall, pretty much did not kick in, and he stalled and pretty much out of the race, which was a bit of a shame. Pretty much the same problem as Monaco, apart from luckily there was no barriers nearby, and he didn't have to go to hospital and that. 8th, Romain Grosjean. He has got a pretty good amount of points today. He could have got a lot more, but again, Lewis has to concentrate more on Kimi Räikkönen. 9th was Paul Di Resta, finishing 11th, just ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, who's hoping to win his Red Bull seat for next season, but he's got some competition from Kimi Räikkönen. And 10th was Jenson Button, who finished 6th in the race. So hopefully McLaren will keep the good points coming. So yeah, in terms of the Red Bull, I'll quickly wrap up the review by saying, for me, driver of the day was, well, both Lotuses. Pretty much they've done really well, and in terms of who will keep the Red Bull seat for next season, replacing Mark Webber, I would say Daniel Ricciardo, because Kimi Räikkönen, he wants to be a number one driver. Even though Sebastian Vettel is on his way to win his 4th World Championship, he's the youngest triple world champion in history, Kimi Räikkönen will still want to be a number one driver. But it'll be interesting to see how these two will battle it out next season if he does get the seat. But for me, Daniel Ricciardo is pretty much a more sensible option. But this could mean that another Australian driver could be treated unfairly in Red Bull. He is definitely a more sensible second driver in Red Bull compared to Kimi Räikkönen. He'll have more respect as a second driver, because obviously he will be a second driver. He's not good enough to be a first driver. However, he has got good qualifying performances over the last 2 races, but unfortunately finished outside the points, 3 seconds behind Paul Di Resta in 12th. So yeah, that's pretty much wraps up the review. So very much as a 3-week break. The teams will be going to the Young Drivers Test in Silverstone in a couple of weeks' time. Unfortunately, Mercedes won't be going, as you may know, because of their ban that they got because of their 1,000 kilometer tire test that they did with Pirelli. So yeah, that's pretty much wraps that up. 3 weeks time, Hungary. It's a slower track compared. It's sort of similar to Nürburgring, but however, I would say that's a bit more tougher on its tires. So that pretty much wraps it up. Like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, follow my blog, and thanks for watching. And hope to see you in a 3 weeks time. See you guys.